This guy performs all over the world. He is hilarious. Start clapping right now.
Thank you.
Everybody come on.
Thank you. Thanks, Troy. Thank you. All right. Well, let's. I'm actually. Yeah. Fuck this. You know, I just walked in the room now. It's raining out, by the way. That's why my hair is wet. This isn't my look. I don't know how the show's gone, but I asked the host, and he's like, yeah, they're a little tight up front, but now they're really good. And I feel like I'm going to bring you back down. I'm pretty, because I'm not even going to do, usually the headliner is like, you know, the most accomplished comic on the lineup, but the reason I asked them to put me last is because I'm going to be impossible to follow. Not because I'm going to do stand-up comedy so well that no one could succeed that, but because I'm not going to do stand-up comedy. Evidence the microphone being here. You know, let's shatter the illusion. I'm going to sit. That's, yeah. Get used to the silence. We're gonna. No, because I've really for the past. So like during the whole lockdown. I was like, you know, I think I'm done with stand-up. I think, like, I missed it, but it didn't feel essential to me. So I was like, if it doesn't feel essential, why? I've been doing it for 14 years. Like, why continue doing it? And then things opened up, and I started doing it again because it's fun, you know. But not now, but sometimes. No, I have to stop going for the laughs. I do. So basically, my whole, I've been trying to quit stand-up for 5 months. And every set I'm like, this will probably be my last set, but then it's fun and I keep doing it. But I just feel like, I don't know, you know, I'm a good writer. I'm a very good joke writer. And I'm a good performer when I actually care about what I'm saying, but so much of what I say on stage I don't care about, so I'm going to quit. And then I'm like, you know what, instead of quitting, why don't I just get on stage and just talk about what's going on in my life? And it's not going to be comedy for you guys, unfortunately. But there's no just ... I don't know what's going to happen. Ellipses. Which is the opposite of a punchline, right? A punchline, it hits, it's an exclamation point. I want ellipses. I want like open-ended ambiguity, which really is not what this form is about. But here we are. So, man, yeah, it's been. What's going on with me, you ask? But first of all, I feel like I should get everyone's buy-in, because this is sort of a hostage situation. You guys came for stand-up, and now I'm like, oh, we're not doing that. Is everyone cool with if I just talk about some shit? Yeah. All right, thank you. Not one person. Yeah, I don't blame you. If I were in your shoes, I'd be like, no, I want to fucking laugh, you know? So, yeah, I've been having a really difficult time because I've been living rent-free in a giant penthouse in the West Village for the last 5 months. And it has been fucking hell. It really has. It's been hell because, so I have obsessive compulsive disorder. If anyone else has OCD, raise your hand 6 times. That's the only joke. That's the only joke I'm gonna do. I was like, give them one joke just so, no more. I have to resist the temptation. I don't know why. I don't know, but I just feel, yeah. All right, so yeah, and my OCD, it's largely about decision making. I get obsessed. I call it white privilege OCD. It's basically, I get obsessed with like trivial choices. Oh, sorry, the microphone is blocking me. I want you to experience the full force of the not comedy that's happening right now. I wouldn't want after the show people to be like, how was it? And you were like, well, I didn't not laugh as much as the other people because the mic stand was blocking some of the anti-humor. So, no, so my OCD, decision making. It started 18 years ago. I had a very significant romantic relationship end, and very soon after, I suddenly became incapable of making any decision. Like getting dressed started taking me an hour, and you know, I think the results speak for themselves, but but I don't have that anymore. Like I eliminated all the like kind of daily forms of OCD. Like it was crazy. I'd walk down the street and I'd be like, oh no, wait, I should switch. I should walk down the other side of the street because there's more trees. And then I'd cross over and then I'd be like, well, but no, I need more sunlight. I need vitamin D. And I would fucking zigzag down the street every day. It was very pathological. So I'm glad you're not laughing. It was fucking intense. It really took over my life. And it got better thanks to a few things. One thing was psychedelics were very helpful. I'm on them right now, and pretty sure I'm hallucinating all of this. So, no, I'm not going to plug my other shows. Like, who would go to that? They're like, yeah, we want to see this guy not perform more. So, I do have a show called The Mushroom Cure, true story of how I tried to treat my OCD with psychedelics. When I tell people at the show, they're always like, did it work? And I'm always like, just buy tickets, you know? Then they're like, but I'm your mother, I'm just concerned about you. And, all right, see, that was a joke and it didn't even get a laugh. So I feel like I'm on the right path by not doing comedy. So that daily OCD got a lot better. But where I still get fucked up is decisions, very luxury decisions about like where to live, stuff like that. And so I came back when the lockdown lifted. My place in Brooklyn is sublet. And a friend has this massive penthouse in the West Village. He's not there. He's like, you could stay there for free. So I think someone just jumped off a ledge because they couldn't. Through the curtain, they're like, God, this is so boring. I'm gonna end it all. Someone just threw themselves down. Hopefully they're trying to abort a fetus and I'm still the cause though. Even if they're aborting a fetus, they're like, how can I bring a child into this world? So this poor person doesn't know. I think he just came in to use the bathroom, and he's like, I hope you're shooting up heroin in there. Save some for me. And the rest of the audience after this set. So I've been staying in my friend's fucking gigantic 2,000 square foot penthouse in the West Village, and I've been losing my shit because I'm like, I feel like I've been very uncomfortable there. And I don't know if it's because Manhattan is just a little too intense for me, or if it's just my OCD glomming onto something like, because the OCD likes to find problems so that then it can find solutions, and then I get a dopamine hit when I find solutions. It's an addiction, basically. And I think a lot of people have this at a low level. Like, I'm an extreme example, but I think we've kind of programmed ourselves, and our society has programmed us to always be searching for these little dopamine hits. I mean, the phone is the obvious example. And I was thinking about this. I've been on Cape Cod for the last few days, which was also hell. I was living in an oceanfront house for free. And, I mean, don't call me a hero. That's a little too strong. Hero is probably the right term. And I had 2 weeks of terrible OCD trying to decide whether to take another friend who has this house in Cape Cod up on his offer to stay there for free and live the penthouse where I was staying for free. It's fucking crazy. I think really what it's about, though, is I had my heart broken 18 years ago, and I wasn't willing to feel the loss of that. So I just kind of went into my head and tried to figure out how to make everything perfect, how to figure everything out, how to fix everything, how to make the right decision. But I do think everyone has some of this. I was thinking about this when I was on the Cape. When the butler brought me a drink, there was no butler there. It was a fairly modest house, but it is right on the edge of a dune overlooking the open Atlantic Ocean. And I wasn't checking my phone there. And I was thinking about, these famous studies, like where they have a rat in a cage, and the rat can administer pellets of like cocaine or heroin by hitting a lever, and they'll do it to the point that they actually starve to death. Famous studies. But someone then replicated these studies more recently. Some of you may know about this, because rats don't live in cages naturally. They actually are fairly curious, free-ranging, wide-ranging animals. So someone put rats in like a healthy rat habitat with lots of space to explore and other rats to play with. And they do the cocaine pellets for a little bit, and then they'd go play or fuck or do something else. And I think that's what we're all like right now. I think we're all in this environment, living in the city, just living in almost anywhere. There's just so much. I'm talking about myself, obviously. I don't know if you all feel this, but I feel like there is a lot of collective anxiety, and we have this way to administer little hits, and we do it all the time. I mean, we don't. People work in fucking cubicles. We don't even get a whole cube. We get a cubicle. Like, that's a miniature cube. We don't have the seal. Like, we're worse than the rats. They had a whole cage to themselves. We have a cagical. That's. If I wasn't going to quit stand-up, there'd be a good joke there. But yeah, I get really fucking. I've been getting really. The OCD was a lot better. See, when a lot of people assume, like, they're like, oh, COVID must have been so tough for people with OCD. And I think for people who have like contamination fear, that sort of thing, it was very difficult. But for me, the lockdown was fucking easy because I had no decisions to make. The opening up has been very, very difficult for me. I think because I've sort of out of practice in making decisions, and I don't know, I've really just been, kind of going off the deep end. So I spent 2 weeks trying to decide whether to go to my friend's house at the Cape. Just fucking, I checked the weather probably 400 times. Like, this is what I'll do. It's not good. I'll have weather.com and AccuWeather and Weather Underground opened side by side, comparing the forecasts. I like Weather Underground, though. Do people know what the Weather Underground is?
Of course.
Is it? You do?
Of course.
Yeah. Can you define it for these fucking ignoramuses?
It's one of the data inputs that you use. When
No. I mean, but the actual historical reference to.
Oh yeah, no, that. Yeah.
So, all right. So the bibliography of the set, I'll give that to you right now, is so they were a fucking terrorist organization. I actually don't know all the details, but they blew up a house inadvertently in the West Village in the 60s. 5 or 6 people died, and I love the fact that it is now a weather site. Because it's kind of like fucking, corporatism is just such a huge thing. It's kind of anti-corporate to name a weather website after a I think they were associated with the Black Panthers. To name a weather website after this revolutionary terrorist organization is like pretty. Or actually, maybe it's super corporate because they were probably like, no, you know what? They're probably like, oh, the name has a certain brand recognition. It'll save us like 30% in our branding. No one fucking knows what it is, so yeah. There'll be like a soft drink named after Al Qaeda in 20 years. So I'll have the 3 fucking browsers open, comparing the hourly forecasts. And I'm not just looking for like probability of precipitation. That's basic shit. No, I'm looking for cloud cover, because if I'm going to be on the Cape, I want to see sunsets. And that requires, I don't want too many clouds, but you also don't want too few clouds. Because a sunset with no clouds, it's just boring. You just get like, the orange sky color. Like, I want the right amount of clouds, but they need to also be in the right position, and so I'm trying to figure that out with all of the websites. It's it's an addiction, because when I feel like I'm getting it right, when I feel like I'm making the right decision, it's a fucking high. But then it doesn't last, because I've spent so much time obsessing. I'm aware of like all the potential downsides of what I'm choosing. So I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't go to the Cape. That feels right. Yeah, I'll stay in New York. I'll do not comedy. And I'll feel good about that for like a minute or two, and I'll be like, yeah, but I should go to the Cape because I need to be on the beach, and I can just bounce back and forth. It's really, it's crazy. It's been really, super fucking intense. And I don't know. Any questions? All right, I'll keep talking. Can really fucking go down the rabbit hole. It's humbling. I don't know why I'm talking about it publicly, but I guess because I don't know why I'm talking about it publicly, but I did have a thought the other day when I was on the Cape on mushrooms, and I had just seen Larry David. This is true. I realized the credibility of that statement is undercut by the fact that I just told you I was on mushrooms. But I fucking saw Larry David. I was on the beach, and I saw someone who was clearly, fairly unambiguously Larry David walking like 30 feet, in front of me. I was like, that's Larry David. And I was like, I should say something, but I also felt like Larry David is the last person who wants you to say something to him. And also, what if it's just a bald dude, So we walked by. I was like, yeah, maybe that wasn't Larry David. And then the tide was coming in, so I moved back. And he passed by again about 20 minutes later, right in front of me, and he turned to me and said hi, and it was fucking Larry David. So anyway, there's a celebrity sighting in my performance tonight. I feel like there's some value there. Well, we did see someone who claims to have seen Larry David, but I'm pretty sure he didn't see Larry David. This is why, if anyone really knows a lot about Larry David, this is why you should suspect my story. Larry David owns a house on Martha's Vineyard. Why the fuck would he be on Cape Cod? But it was Larry David. It was clearly Larry David. It was also, he was walking like Larry David. I'd never realized Larry David has a fairly distinctive walk. And he was talking, he had his AirPods in, and he was talking on the, no one fucking talks on the phone on a Cape Cod beach. People are taking the grandeur of nature except for Larry David. So, all right. So, yeah, so man, just weeks of fucking weather.com, AccuWeather, Weather Underground, Googling the relative accuracy of the websites. It's crazy. But I do think, I do think it's very hard in today's world to not get addicted to trying to get like little hits of dopamine, feeling good about things. We've just, because we're so cut off from the things that I think ultimately do sustain and nourish us, like nature and community, and yeah. So, all right. Yeah, no, I have more to say. Oh, I wanted to say, so I have a weird life. I heard myself say this sentence out loud a few days ago. I asked my shaman if he was vaccinated, and now he won't respond to my emails. That's a sentence I said. I think that pretty much sums up my existence. You know, what pisses me off about it is I wasn't accusing him. Like, if he wasn't vaccinated, I still probably would have, drank ayahuasca with him. But I was curious because I don't know if anyone here has done ayahuasca ceremonies. Has anyone here done ayahuasca? So basically, the shaman is singing. Like, they do a shitload of singing. And you're lying down. So it's like a perfect vector for, they're yelling virus at you, and you're just there with your mouth open, lying down. So I thought it was a relevant question, but he did not answer. And I think maybe I crossed some barrier, some line. Yeah, I don't know. Life is fucking weird. I'm 47, and I don't know. I don't know what my point is there. That's all. That's all. Best dressed man in the audience.
Yeah, and the oldest, I guess.
You?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I mean, I'm 52.
You're 50. You look great, man.
These guys over there are like 32.
Wow, the age thing was really covered extensively before I. Maybe that's why the show started slow. It was the first comic just like, how old are you? 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 Sorry, I forgot. How old are you?
I think to shave my head because then I'll be like under 30.
You look great, man. You look great. I think what I'm doing is fairly courageous, but this dude is really fucking courageous. Just getting up. Seriously. No, anyone should feel free. I'm not going to talk for that much longer because, man, what the fuck am I doing? I want to have some sort of genuine connection. And it's very hard with stand-up. Because stand-up, you have to get laughs. And it's beautiful, but I think the reason I want to quit stand-up is I think it's unhealthy for me because I feel like it makes me excessively focused on getting validation from people. And that's just inherent in the form. Plus, I think of stand-up, it's kind of like snorkeling, right? Like you can kind of go down, but you have to pop up for air every 30 seconds. Every 30 seconds or so you have to get a laugh with stand-up, and it limits how deep you can go. So, anyway, I think I should call this Answers to Questions No One Asked. I really appreciate you guys listening. Yeah. What were some highlights of the evening? Just curious what I missed. There were some good comics. Yeah. All right. Any questions for me? Seriously, you can ask anything.
Where did you get the mushrooms?
The last comic, Vince, just ask him, man. He has a shitload of mushrooms. No, he doesn't. I got them from a friend. Generous friend. People just give me shit. This is part of my problem. I don't know why. People are like, hey, do you want to use my house on the Cape for free? Do you want to live in my penthouse in the West Village for free? Here's some mushrooms. It's Yeah, it's a curse. It is a curse. No, it's. I'm aware like how privileged it is to be able to be obsessed about this stuff, but I do feel like, yeah, I think it's just something my mind came up with to try to make me feel good at a point when I was experiencing a lot of heartbreak, and now it's hard for me to get out of it. Because once I start going down the rabbit hole, once I start obsessing, once it goes beyond a certain point, it's virtually impossible to stop, because the more I do it, the more uncomfortable I feel, and therefore the more incentive I have to continue doing it, to try to feel comfortable, to try to get the right answer that's going to make me feel good. So, I don't know if anyone relates to any of this.
Not at all.
Not at all. What's your advice? No, please. It wasn't a rhetorical question.
This guy needs some help, right?
Yeah.
So my advice to you
Yes.
is
Yeah.
take all those weather inputs,
Yeah.
and you have to take an exponential weighted average.
I feel like this is the wrong direction for me to go in. You're not thinking about this hard enough. But tell me.
You have to really take an exponential weighted average.
Yep.
Past performance,
Oh, I've looked into that.
To future participation, performance, and then when you look at that and you see how that works, you can actually chart this. Excel is probably.
But here's the variable. But here's the thing. Here's the thing: is it's all bullshit, because ultimately my happiness is not whether it's 30% cloud cover or 50% cloud cover is not going to determine my happiness. What's going to make me happy is not getting trapped in this OCD thing, and I know that. But
what's great is being able to look at what you project versus what actually happens. And be able to like input all that data into your Excel spreadsheet and just obsess over that, right? Make sure that all that data is like perfect quality.
I think he's being.
No, I'm just making this up.
No, I appreciate it. I do appreciate the participation, especially this guy had to hold down a lot of weight while you were gone, man. I hope you appreciate it. You should buy him a drink right now.
That's all it was.
Yeah. All right. So, I hope someone blogs about this. Do people blog anymore? No. All right. Any other? There was another question, I think. No. All right.
What cave were you?
I was in Wellfleet.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? That's why I should have gone there 2 weeks earlier. Fuck. That was it was amazing. Hopefully.
What do the hats think?
What?
What do the people in the hats think?
The guy who owns the house?
No, that's not. The hat group.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a hat group. Oh. Welcome.
No, they're here.
It shouldn't be that hard to determine who's wearing hats. I'll give you a hint. It's the people wearing hats. It's not like who are the gay people? Well, you can't tell. How dare you assume those people are wearing hats? You fucking bigot. That could be their organic head shape, okay? You don't know how these people were born. Are you German? I'm going with German. Are you German? No. What's your where are you guys from? American. I've heard of it. Okay. Cool.
Kansas City, I don't know.
Yeah. Cool. I think I need you as my hype man. That's what. Cool. I like the hats. I assume you met on a hat dating site?
Hat dates.
I thought that was pretty good. What's going on with this side of the room? All right. They're all sort of shrinking away in fear. I don't blame you. You know, you guys. Oh, there is someone wearing a hat. I'm sorry, not that I don't see hats, guys. I don't see hats. But yeah, forgive me for saying that. All right. Well, maybe we should. All right, I will do one thing, which is, it's not a joke because it's a true story, but it's a little bit of COVID. It's fine. Actually, I won't tell you that story. I think maybe what's going on is I've just been having weird sexual experiences, and it's throwing everything off. It's throwing everything off, man. It seems like women only want to have one night stands with me, and it hurts. I've been having sex with extremely attractive women who who are very clear at the outset that they want to use me for my body. I don't know. I don't understand it either. But I can do like 8 push-ups, not to brag. With my dick, no. All right, so. Oh, it's so hard not to get sucked in by the laughter. But I've been having you know what, at some level, this is a very humbling thing to admit, I am lonely. I'm lonely. I've realized that. And I think it's just getting older. I used to enjoy spending more time alone. And yeah, I've been, these weird fucking relationships. I had, so one reason I haven't quit, we won't even talk about that. So my first sexual experience post-lockdown, soon after I got back to New York. Obviously, it's not going to take me long. But it was pretty amazing. I was walking down the street with another comic who actually does comedy. And Daniel Simonson, he's really funny. Watch him sometime if you want to laugh instead of this. But anyway, we were walking down the street, and this woman, strikingly attractive woman, even by New York standards, where there's so many beautiful women here, was walking parallel to us, and I just was like, wow, she's gorgeous. And then she stopped me and asked me if I would have sex with her. No, she stopped me and asked me, she said, excuse me, do you know where Fiddlesticks is? And I said, yes, it's an awful bar, but let me show you where it is. And I just turned away from my friend, one of my best friends in the world. I didn't even say bye to him. I just turned immediately and walked with us. He might have gotten hit by a car. I don't care. Anyway, we wound up hanging out that night with me and some of her friends. And the next night, I was performing here. I did stand up. I used the mic. I was funny. All the fucking cliches. And that these hacks do. And so obviously, when I do that, needless to say, we're gonna fuck. It's a foregone conclusion. No. Needed to. But we hung out, and we wound up having sex, and she was being very quiet. And, sex, kind of like comedy, in both cases I can sort of assess my performance based on the noises the other people involved are making usually. And so it was disconcerting that she was being so quiet, so I was like, hey, are you enjoying yourself? I didn't say, that sounds like you're at a bar mitzvah or something. Have you tried the prime rib? I was like, are you okay? And she's like, what?
Ribs at a bar mitzvah.
Oh, good point. Right. I'm a terrible Jew. She's like, yeah. I was like, well, you're being quiet. And she's like, no, I just, you're new, whatever. And I was like, well, listen, if there's something you want to do that we're not doing, just tell me. And I'll do it, because I'll do anything sexually. At this point, 47, you can stick anything anywhere, I'll stick anything. As long as it's not medically ill-advised, the answer is yes. There's only been one time in my life, this is true, only one time in my life where a woman has wanted to do something, and I've said no. And this was, years ago I dated this woman who was very into S&M. And she got me into it, it was hot, I enjoyed it. But at one point, she wanted me to waterboard her. I was like, listen, I want you to get off, but I'm not going to violate the Geneva Convention. That just feels like war crimes is where I draw the line in the bedroom. So anyway, I said to this woman a couple of months ago, if there's something you want to do, we're not doing, tell me. And if there's something I'm doing that you don't want me to do, tell me that. And she said, can you stop talking? Which is probably what many of you are thinking right now, and I'm about to. So, anyway, the point is I still have one of her earrings, so I'm pretty sure she'll be back, but it's been several months. Yeah. All right, let me just check. How are we? Oh shit! Okay. Yeah, I think we can bring this home. Last chance for any questions. All right. Oh, yeah, you raise your hand. That's so polite. See? That's how you do it. Fucking make an Excel spreadsheet telling you to... No, it's fine. You're a rock star. I love you. Yes?
So what's the difference in the validation when you're getting on stage and talking versus, comedy?
So, great question. So, comedy... So, the beautiful thing, and I think some of it comes down to OCD. With comedy, you know how you're doing in every moment because you're getting laughs or you're... Exactly. So laughter is very reinforcing. It's really what it is. I think every comic, people say when you tell them you're a comic, they often say you're brave, but I think what it really is is comics have such a desperate need for validation and love that it repels us past the fear of humiliation that makes ordinary people not do stand-up. It's not that comics aren't, you do it enough and you don't get scared, but initially it's terrifying. But laughter, it's just, it's a fucking drug. It feels so good. And whereas what I've been doing tonight is much more brave, I would say. Vulnerable, deep, profound. I don't know what I'm doing tonight, but I know that I don't. The problem for me with laughter is I think because I want that validation and love so much, I start playing to the laughter instead of playing to what's true for me, and then that makes me feel more lonely and disconnected and like I'm wasting my life because it's kind of like I'm just playing a game trying to get laughs. And it's a beautiful game, stand-up. I think of it like haiku. You can say anything as long as it gets laughs. It's within the form, there's endless creativity. Sorry, I didn't make a good, thank you for your expression. This guy's expression was like, how the fuck is that like haiku? Because all right, so haiku, there's a limited, 575 syllables, but there's an infinite number of possibilities that can fulfill that form. But you have to fulfill the form. And there's an infinite number of ways to get laughter, but you have to get laughter. And you can have a larger infinity versus a smaller infinity. And so, yeah. Did that answer your question? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, I don't know what this is, and I don't know why I wanted to do it, but I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad you let me do it. So I'm really grateful. Thank you. Yeah.